special. We got Stipe and Francis headlining the pay-per-view this weekend. Pretty excited for that. How you doing, Josh?
Doing good, brother. How about you, man? It's been a good solid week, and I'm ready for some fights.
It has 2 shows this week. You can't get enough of me, I guess.
No, I can't, man. Unfortunately, and the sad part is, I text you at night too to see what the hell you think about some of the news that comes out.
Oh man, we got to stay in contact. We got to know what each other's thinking for the show, man.
Yeah, and I kind of surprised you this morning. I went with the clean shave, and
I know.
I've got the slick back hair this morning.
Yeah, you went from Grizzly Adams to used car salesman.
Yeah. Well, fuck you. Okay.
Oh man, good thing this is not a family show, huh?
No, but this guy. We had some big news come out this weekend, though, or this week, I should say. My girl's coming back, Miesha Tate.
That's right.
She's thinking that she can beat the best there was at Amanda Nunes.
She's wrong.
I agree.
Not much to say there.
No. I love Miesha Tate, though. She was one of the pioneers of women's fighting back in the day. She's already fought Amanda. It did not go her way at UFC 200, but I'm glad that she's back. She's a mother now, so maybe that mom strength, who knows? I mean, you never know.
Yeah, but Amanda's a mom now too, so she can match her on the mom strength. I don't think that strategy's going to pay off.
Yeah, when you say that, I love Amanda, but she didn't give birth to the baby. And
oh man, you are walking a thin line there, my friend.
Listen, my wife will take up for me on this one. There's a difference in actually giving the birth, because she always tells me I did nothing when it comes to having my children, essentially.
Well, you didn't exactly do nothing, but hold on for 1 second, because are you at a freaking train depot or what? Like, are you inside a train?
No, so there is a train that comes by my office probably like 3 or 4 times a day, and it is the most annoying damn thing in the world, because I'm right here at the baseball stadium, downtown Fayetteville, so it's like we have the train station that goes right through, separates me and the ball field. So I overlook first base right here.
Wow, look at you. Big baseball guy, huh?
No, I hate baseball, but it's fun to go to those games.
Yeah, me too. If you're looking for a baseball podcast, this is not the one. You know what else is annoying other than trains? It's fighters that bitch and moan. So what's the deal with Justin Gaethje? I haven't really had a chance to read up on it.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that he was, I guess he thought he was in talks, or I don't know what the case was, but I guess he was saying that he was training for Michael Chandler, and then all of a sudden he woke up the next day and Charles Oliveira has the title fight with Michael Chandler. For me, I mean, Charles Oliveira deserves it. Gaethje's coming off a loss. He had his chance. It could be. Me and you've talked about this a couple of times.
We talked about this earlier this week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Gaethje. I think he does deserve a shot at the title, but he's got to get a win. I think a great fight for him would be Paul Felder. I think that'd be a fun fight. And Paul deserves that fight too. So I like that. And then, I think Conor and Dustin will get the number one, the shot at the title next after that. And I think that fight's scheduled for around July. It hasn't been announced, but I think that's what they're targeting is July.
Right. It's basically 2 semifinals with Oliveira and Michael Chandler going for the title, and then the winner of the Dustin and Conor fight. I like Gaethje versus Dan Hooker. I said that on Monday, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Gaethje. He's just the odd man out right now. But
I like that fight with Gaethje and Hooker too, because both coming off losses.
I think Hooker's better than Felder. Like, let's be real.
I don't know, man. I watched that fight, that Felder Hooker fight. Man, that was a tough fight, and he lost a decision in Australia. So I mean, For me, I thought Felder won that fight. I thought he did more towards the end. I thought the cardio held up for him. And don't rule out RDA either, man. He just beat up Felder. That light weight division is stacked.
Agreed.
But what we got next? What we got?
You want to talk a little UFC 260 prelims? There's a couple of interesting fights. There were more, but COVID has really wrecked this card.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, from Volkanovski to I was going to break down the Shane Young fight, and you can't even bet on it right now,
right,
on any of the websites that I try to go to, just mainly because he is a training partner for Volkanovski, and they're doing a couple COVID tests. So I wouldn't be surprised if you might get some late action on that, like maybe Saturday morning, if the fight goes through.
Yeah, it's not up right now. It was up last night, and it has since been taken down, like you said.
Right.
We do have one early prelim that I'm actually kind of interested in. I like Marc-Andre Barriault. I like his nickname, Powerbar. I think that's a cool nickname. So you always get a little bit extra cred with me if you have a cool name. He's going up against Abu Zaitar, who I got confused with. What's the other Zaitar's name? I'm assuming there's no relation. I can't remember the guy's name. Crap. But the other guy looked really good, and so I got him mixed up, and I got excited because I thought he was fighting each other, but I don't think that's even the right weight class. So it shows you how much I know. At any rate, I got a 31-year-old Marc-Andre Barriault coming off a knockout of Oscar Pichota in the middleweight division. That was actually declared a no contest because Powerbar failed a drug test. So
naturally.
Right, yeah. So he's actually coming off of 3 losses and a no contest. So I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. I actually think he's considerably better than his matchup with Zaitar. I've never actually seen a Zaitar fight. I think he's only got one UFC fight under his belt at age 35. He made his debut back in 2018, and he took a loss there. And he really hasn't fought any recognizable names, and people really don't seem to have a whole lot of confidence in him at this point in his career. I guess he's been injured here in the last couple of years, and some people think he's kind of been dodging fights. So we'll see what happens, but the odds are pretty good for Marc-Andre right now. I'm not doing a Lopez locks this week. I'll be out of town for a wedding, so I'll try and sprinkle some of those in as we go, but I do like Marc-Andre at -130 right now. I think he'll get the job done, probably get a knockout, and probably end Zaitar's run in the UFC here. So
yeah, it looks like he was I'm pulling up his record now. It looks like he was supposed to schedule to be fighting Buckley as well.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Joaquin Buckley and then one other person that I can't remember. And
Alessia Takara.
Yep, that's it. And neither of those happened. He also failed a drug test. So since his UFC debut, he's got injuries, failed drug tests, and 2 fight withdrawals. So not exactly the kind of resume that Dana White is looking for.
No. Yeah, I mean, he's got a solid record at 14-2-1, but I mean, there's that one fight in the UFC and then the failed drug test, and I'm just looking at him now. I haven't really heard of him, but
yeah, and
I trust you on this one.
I think Marc-Andre is a little underrated because of his recent record, but one of those losses was a split decision. The other 2 were unanimous decisions, but still a decision. And then, like I said, he got that knockout that got wiped out. So you heard it here first to take Marc-Andre at -130. I
like it. Yeah, with the show, we try to pick some prelim fights to give you guys some value, and I was gonna pick Shane Young, but damn, I don't know if he's gonna fight or not. So
no, I know.
So here is my one pick. I haven't done a ton of research on him. I know he was on the Dana White Contender Series.
Omar Morales?
No, I am going with Fabio. Against Alonzo.
Oh, he was also on the also on the Contender Series as well.
He's 7-1. I like the odds that I got with him. especially stepping in short notice against Alonzo Minifield, who is 9-2. So the records are pretty similar when it comes to experience. And for me, I'm going with the younger guy. I'm going with the 26-year-old who just wants it more, I feel like.
Yeah. I guess people have had some questions about Minifield here lately. I don't know anything about Fabio. I'm actually trying to stall until I can get his record pulled up here so I can see. Oh, so his nickname is the Water Buffalo.
Water Buffalo.
Maybe I do like this guy. How about that?
That's what I was getting ready to tell you. The nickname's the Water Buffalo.
Yeah. So little Dana White's Contender Series. He lost on the Contender Series, but then he went to LFA and he got a couple of victories over there. Yeah. So he was able to convince.
He lost to a flying knee. And
that's
then
what I'm seeing.
That's
wild. Yeah, so that should be an interesting fight. I'd probably lean towards Minifield just out of experience. I know he did lose to OSP and Devin Clark, but he also beat Paul Craig. So, I like Minifield to bounce back here.
Yeah, I'm just going off sheer underdog
value
here on this pick. I mean,
right.
Like I said, if Shane Young was fighting, I really like Shane Young in that fight. If something does come up and you do get him late on Saturday morning, I would take that all day long. He's a training partner of Volk, training partner of Izzy. Love those guys. Anybody that comes out of that city kickboxing gym, I'm gonna kind of pull for them. They have just their feints and the way they set up their striking is just it's on a different level than any other gym around right now.
Yeah, and that's a good matchup for him too. Now I think Shane Young is about a plus 180 dog right now, so there's some good value on that one as well. But yeah, Morales is kind of a power guy, and Shane Young, I guess, is more of a technical type striker, like you're saying.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of power in his hands as well, but he is the more technical of the two, I believe.
So it sounds like the bet there would either be Shane Young straight up money line, or you could take Morales by knockout if you want to get some value there as well. Because if he catches him, he's got the power to take out a guy like Shane Young. So
yeah, absolutely. And a fight that me and you've talked about before and I'm staying away from is Khabib's cousin,
Abu Bakar. Yeah.
Yes, I am staying away from it because after listening to Josh Thompson and John McCarthy earlier this morning. Well, Big John. Josh Thompson gave me a little insight that my man doesn't like to do cardio. So
me neither.
I am not about somebody who doesn't like to do cardio and picking fights because if you're not going to get – what makes you think you're going to give it all in the octagon if you can't give it all outside of it?
Well, especially for a wrestler. Like, that's the most important thing for a wrestler is to outpace the other guy and outwork him. So, on the ground and in the clinch. So he's also been submitted. Jared Gooden's got a couple of submissions on his resume. So I am seriously considering putting a little cash on Jared Gooden at plus 205 because
I love that.
And I would wait too, because people are going to see Nurmagomedov and they're going to bet him just sheerly based on the fact that he's related to Khabib. And
absolutely.
That doesn't mean shit, right? Like, it's a benefit in training, sure, but if he's not taking his training seriously, like you're saying, then that's not going to matter. And I really like that value on Jared Gooden. Absolutely,
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's all we have for the prelims. But before we get there, and speaking of Khabib, probably one of the greatest at the time, one of the best middleweights was Luke Rockhold. And now he's training with or he wants Khabib to coach him. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. Interesting, I guess. I certainly don't see any harm in having one of the greatest to ever do it as your coach. So it makes sense to me.
It's funny you say the greatest to ever do it.
One of.
I don't know if you saw, because we have a new pound for pound number one now. It's your boy. It's your boy, John Jones. And he
Excellent.
put out a I believe it was Twitter or Instagram, I can't remember. But what it is, it's a stack of how many title defenses all the way down, and it starts with John, GSP, and then
I think
Khabib's
I
at the
sent you
bottom,
that. I
and
sent you that
Demetrius,
meme. Yeah.
and then Khabib's at the bottom with 4.
I mean, yeah, but that's not,
With a
that's not
champagne
the,
bottle, just
yeah, not exactly the whole story, but I do agree with the point. I think Khabib gets a lot of love because he's undefeated.
well,
Is really the big thing there.
I would have loved it even more if John wasn't such a sissy about it and deleted the tweet. He deleted
He's
it.
wild, man. He's crazy.
I mean, man up, man. You put it out there. Let it be known. If you're the best, let it be known. Nothing wrong
I
with that.
mean,
Nothing.
yeah,
I would have had more respect for him if he kept it up.
I don't know. Sometimes you say things, and then after you say things, you kind of think back on it, and you say, maybe I didn't really need to say that. So I guess I'm a little more forgiving than you are.
Yeah, I guess so.
Makes sense. You're an asshole.
Yeah, that is true. That
Not
is
like
true.
me. I'm a real nice guy over here.
Yeah, I see that with your background over there, jackass.
You're not supposed to say anything about that. It's supposed to be an unspoken joke.
All right. Well, who we got next? What is
we're on the main card now, baby.
We are.
Yeah. You just want to start and work our way down, little Jamie Malarkey and Kama Worthy?
Yeah, absolutely. I like this fight, man. I was telling you, man, it took me forever to find something on Malarkey.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to kind of school me on this for the first time ever. You actually
settle down on first time ever there.
Teaching me something that I didn't know.
Okay.
That Malarkey was a grappler, and that he got KO'd by Volk. So you taught me a lot.
Listen, man, just because you got all this expertise on on Dan Hardy and Forrest Griffin and GSP and all these guys that aren't even fighting anymore. I'm trying to keep up with the times here. I'm trying to keep up with the up and comers, baby.
See, I'm just educating you. That's all I'm doing. I'm educating you on the past. The past always repeats itself. Remember that.
All right.
And respect your elders at the same time.
All right.
Remember who your daddy is.
Ain't you.
All right. But anyways, Jamie Malarkey, Kama Worthy. For this one, it's like you said, if Kama Worthy keeps it standing, I think Kama gets the knockout here. If it goes to decision, I like Malarkey by decision, split decision at that, not just unanimous. I like it by split decision. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think the first round is going to go probably to Worthy. I think second round goes Malarkey, and then third round, who knows, up for the grabs. But I like Kama to get it done by KO.
So to me, it's just my catchphrase: who's got the more paths to victory? And to me, that's Jamie Malarkey. So Kama Worthy can knock him out. Kama Worthy could win a decision, but he's looked really tense. I guess not necessarily tentative, but like it's almost like he's trying too hard the last couple of fights that I've watched from him. And
I agree.
I think Malarkey can hit some jabs in there, and he's got to watch out for that counter coming from Kama Worthy. If Kama Worthy hits him with that, it could be lights out. But if he's quick enough on his feet and he can kind of manage that and land some jabs, he could still win a decision on the feet. I think he'll get at least a couple of takedowns, and he could even submit him on the ground. So I really like Jamie Malarkey there. He's about plus 100, so even money there. Throw down 100, win 100. I think that's the call there.
All right, so you're going with Malarkey on this one.
I am indeed.
All right, so we're splitting right away, right on the first fight, disagreeing. I like it.
All right, good deal. Well, the next fight on that card is one that I am actually pretty excited about, and that's our ladies flyweight bout between two young stars in that division, or at least I think they're stars. And that's Jillian Robinson and or Jillian Robertson, pardon me, and Miranda Maverick. Maverick fought on that Justin Gaethje card. That was her UFC debut. Got a doctor's stoppage on Liana Jojua after one round. She really busted her face open. And then Jillian Robertson was super active last year. She fought 4 times. Split those 2-2. She beat Courtney Casey and Botello. I don't know how you pronounce that. And then she took losses to Macy Barber and Taylor Santos. So Macy Barber is a tough matchup for anybody. No shame in dropping that one. And then Maverick, like I said, her UFC debut, a very powerful striker, but haven't seen a ton out of her. So it's your classic striker versus grappler matchup here.
Oh, this is that Paulina Batola. That's the girl that Colby Covington, I think, that he's been hitting on. I think that's her. Let me see.
That's a weird fact.
Yeah. Well, they had that.
You're too much of a fan of Colby Covington, man.
No, there's no such thing as too much of a fan.
Fan is short for fanatic.
I think this is the girl they had that picture with, and then there was a lot of. I might be mistaken on this, though.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I'm a little bit scared to bet this fight. Miranda's, I think, -1. It's moved a little bit. She opened at -180. I think it's down to -160. So the public showing a little bit of love for Jillian. I think that that may be a little bit of a bias because they've seen her fight, right? And Miranda literally has 1 round in the UFC under her belt, but she's extremely talented. The X factor in this is going to be her ground game. We're going to have to see if she can stand up to takedown attempts by Jillian, I think. And if she can do that, she's going to get the victory. And if she can't, we're going to find out what her ground game looks like, because Jillian's not by any stretch of the imagination, an invincible grappler who you get taken down and it's game over. But she is good. She's able to wrestle really well. And so, we'll find out what Miranda can do. She's got, I think, 2 submissions. One was a guillotine where she just knocked this girl down and just grabbed her up. It's pretty impressive, actually. It was obviously at a lower level of competition. I don't remember the promotion off the top of my head, but she got a guillotine with this girl up against the fence, but the girl was just like, basically knocked out. She could have finished her with punches if she wanted to.
Right.
But she just grabbed her and choked her out with a guillotine. And then she had another submission against Deanna Bennett in Invicta that I wasn't able to find footage of. So I don't really know what that looked like and if there was actually any exhibition of her ground game there.
Yeah, I mean, for me, for this one, I think Miranda Maverick gets it done on the feet. And Jillian, she's no slouch when it comes to. I've watched a couple of her fights this morning. She's no slouch at all. I just favor Maverick in this fight. I think that she gets it done standing, and if not standing, I think she rocks her, submits her with a guillotine, just like how you stated before.
I'm going to go with Jillian. I think the experience is going to pay off for her. I think Maverick is probably going to end up having the better career. But I think Jillian's experience is going to pay off here, and she's going to get the victory.
And starting 2-0 so far.
Well, we got to disagree on these, because those the main event and the co-main, I think we're probably on the same page on. But before we get to those, gotta show a little love to Sugar Sean, right?
Yeah, I think he's getting disrespected not being the co-main event actually on this card. To be honest with you,
it's just the name. It's just Tyron Woodley's name.
And that's a shame. I think OMalley has a bigger name than Woodley coming into this fight.
Probably among UFC like kind of diehard fans, people who watch pretty much every week. But for people who are only watching pay-per-views and stuff like that, Woodley's the guy. I mean. Right, Woodley's the guy who's going to sell pay-per-views more.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but
just by his name alone, yeah.
Let's get into this fight. I personally, I wrote down a couple notes here about OMalley when I went back and looked at some of his fights, and he's really, really talented when it comes to setting up his feints and jukes. So what I mean by jukes is, what he'll do is he'll juke to the right, and then come back to the left, and then set it up feints that way. And he's very, very difficult to time. And while he's juking, he's also switching stances. So he'll juke to the right, come back southpaw.
Yeah.
Juke to the left, come back orthodox. So it's very hard to get a read on that. And then he'll also, one of the things that he does really, really well is he sets up his feints. So it's just like the Eddie Wineland fight where he set up that uppercut and then feinted with the uppercut over right hand right down the pipe.
Yeah.
A very, very underrated ground game. So he's had grappling matches with Hector Lombard, who is a 185 pounder. Didn't win, but he didn't lose either. He went to a draw, just like he's grappled with Gilbert Melendez, who trains with Nate Diaz, who trains with that scrap pack up there. Gilbert Melendez is a very talented grappler and went to draw with him as well. And this is during the time where he hurt his knee, I believe.
Well, and he's just super athletic and incredibly long and big for that division.
Absolutely.
So that kind of naturally lends itself to being able to develop those grappling skills if you put the work in. And then he's, as you mentioned, very talented on the feet, very mobile, difficult to hit, and he'll hit you from a place you're not expecting him to hit you from.
Yeah. And then with Almeida, man, I love the kickboxing. He's a straight, right here in your face kickboxer. Very clean. He doesn't make very many mistakes when it comes to that. He's good. I could see him definitely wearing O'Malley's leg because you could see it in the last fight that was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The calf kicks can be a big, huge part of this fight.
Well, especially for a guy who hops around like Sugar Sean does.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to slow him down. You want to get him stationary. You want to get him into your world. And Almeida's no slouch on the ground as well. He's from that shooter box camp. That's where all those big guys come from. The Vanderlei Silva was from there, and that was one of the big problems, I think, is when he was fighting Cody. Those guys put in work, man. They beat up each other in sparring.
You know how many takedowns Almeida has in his career?
Probably zero.
Zero, yeah.
Yeah, probably zero. But he's no slouch on the ground, though. I mean, those Brazilians.
I just don't see this fight ending up there.
No, but if I had to say anybody was going for a takedown, it'd be O'Malley. I think if the leg kicks start to affect him, I can see O'Malley going for a takedown and trying to submit him.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a route that he could use. O'Malley is a mixed martial artist. He is a better overall fighter in this fight.
So you're picking O'Malley?
I am going with O'Malley.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, I haven't seen much of Almeida. Basically, all I know about him is that he was like a super big hype train, and then started fighting some of those top guys, Rob Font.
Cody is the best example.
Cody Garbrandt, yeah. I mean, that's the best person he's fought, but and I mean, it's tough to hold that against him, right? But he's basically kind of fallen apart since he's started fighting some of those more talented guys.
Now, I wouldn't count out Almeida in this fight whatsoever, because if Sean O'Malley doesn't have the right attitude coming into this fight, I could easily see him winning this fight.
Well, he's still undefeated, right? So.
Yeah, I guess so. 12-0 right there. I see it.
Okay, all right. Well, we finally agree on something. We're both picking O'Malley.
Yeah, I'm going with O'Malley. Now we got Woodley and Vicente Luque in the co-main event.
That's right. Luque is a huge favorite here, minus 240. Can get Woodley at plus 205 right now. Almost a little bit insulting to a guy with the resume of Woodley, but just the way that he's looked since that shoulder injury, I'm not sure his career isn't kind of on its way out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's on its way out because of the last three fights he's had. If you look at him, he fought Usman, who's a champ.
Yeah.
Burns, who gave the champ all he could at that first round. I mean, he got stopped, but Burns is no slouch. And then Colby, who's the number one guy in that division right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you look at it like that, he's fought the best of the best 3 times in a row. I think this is a good step back for him. I think it's a good reset fight for him. I think it's a fight that he needs to walk forward and not keep backing up, put his back against the cage, and just explode like he did against Wonder Boy. And I think that he needs to make this fight a wrestling match as well. Mm-hmm. I think he needs to take him down, ground and pound, and get a victory that way. I don't think he can't sit back. If he sits back, you're going to see the exact same thing.
And that's what happened. He did.
Yeah.
That's what he did in all 3 of those fights, especially against Colby.
Yep. You can't, if he does that, it's going to be the same result.
So, yeah, I don't know what would make you think that. I mean, I guess maybe he'll have more confidence because it's a slightly lower level of competition, but
well, if he didn't
I just don't see it.
If he didn't have confidence at going against Colby, then or at least motivation. I don't know how he's going to get motivation for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
after
really
all
see
the
it.
shit that after all the shit that they talked all those times when Woodley was a champ, and everybody was, and he was saying Colby was ducking him and all this. Man, I just don't know how he's going to muster up the confidence.
Yeah.
And I've listened to a couple of his interviews recently, and he just sounds like the same old Woodley that, you know, he's making excuses, and he says, you know, he tells people that, you know, other people can do commentary talking about, you know, like the likes of Paul Felder and Michael Chiesa. Well, those guys are winning. Other than Paul Felder, I mean, you know, but he brings it every time. Like Michael Chiesa is winning.
Yeah, so I think it'll go to decision. I think Woodley's still tough enough that, you know, and skilled enough.
Yeah, I don't see a finish in this fight at all.
Right, yeah. And so I got Luque by decision here. What about you?
I got Luque by knockout.
Yeah, I could see it happening. I'll put a little bit of faith in Woodley here and give him a little bit of respect because I don't think it's really affected his defensive fighting a ton. And obviously Colby was able to finish him in the 5th round there by I think roughing up his ribs. But
you know, and I want to give Woodley the benefit of the doubt that he can go to decision, but
it's only a 3-round fight too, which is his first 3-round fight in years.
Yeah, and for me, I just feel like Luque is going to put the pressure on him. I think he's going to be right there in his face. He's not going to, as long as he keeps it tight and watches that overhand right, I don't see it. I don't see him having too much of a problem in this one at all.
Agreed. All right. Well, we got two picks we split on and 2 picks we agree on so far. So the rubber match, I guess, to find out if we agree or not on this one. I suspect we will. The main event, man. Stipe back in action for the first time since he successfully defended his title in the Daniel Cormier trilogy. Walked Daniel Cormier across the bridge into retirement there. And Francis getting his second shot at Stipe.
Yeah. I see this one going a lot like the first fight, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I like to bet in this is the over-under. I believe it's 1.5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 1.5.
It's 1.5, and the odds are it's -145 for the over.
I like the over. I think Stipe gets it done for that. I think Stipe, but the question is, can he survive? You know, those 2 rounds. You know, that's really it. If it goes past the 2nd round, it's Stipe's fight.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to wear him down. And I know everybody's making a big deal about how Stipe is coming in leaner. I think that's going to help him more when it comes to his cardio. I think it's going to help him when it comes to, you know, being the quicker fighter in
movement.
Well. Yeah. You know, Stipe is no slouch when it comes to standing. People forget
he's a great boxer.
He's a Golden Glove boxer. You know.
Yeah.
I think he'll use those leg kicks as well that he always does. He used them against DC which are great. He has a strong leg kick. I think, Stipe is a lot faster with his hands than people think he is. He caught Francis a couple times in that fight, and Francis caught him too. Don't get me wrong. Francis's best punch in this fight is his uppercut. I watched the first one. Francis's uppercut caught him multiple times coming in, level changing. He'd go for the uppercut, and he did a great job the first time that Stipe level changed. Francis missed him completely. Second round, when Stipe level changed again, grazed him on his head. The next time, caught him 3 flush, but the power wasn't there. Stipe drained it. It was gone. So I could see the uppercut being a problem. Another thing with Francis is he's very, very predictable. If you look at his strikes, he goes left, right, left every time. Those are the combinations: left hand, right hand, left every time. He's very, very predictable when it comes to fighting. Stipe is going to stay on the outside. He's going to make him come to him so he can see those strikes coming. And then once he sees them coming, he's going to level change, take him down. And I see this fight happening very, very similar to the last one. I got Stipe by either late round KO by ground and pound or decision, because Stipe is going to wear on him. I watched when he did it. He put his forearm across his throat. He had his forearm across the back of his head. Always having some kind of weight on Francis and making him carry that weight the entire time.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, 100%. All the way up to method of victory. If Francis is going to come in swinging those hooks in the first round, and if nothing happens there, I don't think it's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. There's really good odds on Stipe right now. I think he opened, plus 110. Francis around minus 140, I think. Minus 130, and then it's since moved. It's fluctuated a little bit. It got up to plus 115, which is where I took it, then went back down plus 110, and now it's as we speak at plus 118. So actually a little bit better than where I took it. I love that value. I mean, an underdog champion, it doesn't get much better than that. Even if it's a super close fight, you could have a situation where the judges give the benefit of the doubt to the champion. So I always like that if you got an underdog champion. And I just think Stipe is clearly the best in the heavyweight division, right? Like, now that DC's gone, he's easily the most well-rounded fighter in that division. Now, one guy who I think I may have mentioned this earlier this week in our other show, Cyril Gane, I really like his skill set. I know he didn't do a whole lot against Jairzinho, but I think he is another guy who's like really well-rounded. It'll take him a while to get up there to that kind of top contender level, but he's really working his way up there too. So, it'd be interesting to see what happens with him, but I am also going to pick Stipe as well. And just like you said, either by late round knockout or by decision.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that Francis can't win this fight.
No.
He can. Francis can definitely win this fight, but it's going to have to be within those 2 rounds. He's not winning a decision, and he's not winning by a late round KO. I just don't see that. Really, my interest now is Jon Jones, Stipe. That's what I'm at. Once this fight's over, it's not a formality. I think that, like I said, Francis can win this fight, but I'm really more interested in seeing Jon Jones and Stipe.
Than Jon Jones and Francis. I agree with that. I mean, I just think that the level of skill in that fight would be so much greater, and it would just be a lot more entertaining. I mean, it would be fun to see Francis knock Jon Jones out, but
yeah, I would love that. But.
I know you would, but I mean, yeah, just because I'm a fan of Jon Jones doesn't mean I can't appreciate that it would be pretty funny to see him get his ass.
No, I mean, and I don't like him just because of his antics and the steroids, but he is one of the best fighters to ever do it.
The steroids is one thing, but saying you don't like him because of his antics is like, dude, you like Colby Covington. If you want to talk about antics, that guy's got some antics.
Yeah, I understand. It's a different though. He's trying to sell fights, whereas Jon Jones is trying to demean people. There's a difference.
I mean, Colby Covington. Okay, whatever you say, man. Whatever you say, man.
Colby did disappoint me though with the whole that I told you about that girl, man. It was just a crazy ass story. It's too much to go into now, and I don't even feel
I have
like
no idea what you're talking about. Colby Covington's a jackass, so
but
maybe that's why you're a fan of him.
But my man Hazmat Shemaev, who I'm a bigger fan of, is coming back. Maybe around that July card as well.
Yeah, he's been training with alligators. Alligators and sharks, his trainer says.
Hell, they can't compete with him.
Oh, yeah, let me grab my...
They can't get real people in the gym. They need to get alligators and sharks. That's the reason why.
Let me read off the quote that I sent you last night. That shit was so funny, man, from his... I guess it was his manager or his trainer or something. I'm trying to find it right now. But he was basically talking about, like, how training with sharks and alligators would I don't know, I can't find it. You can look it up if you want to read it, but basically that training with sharks and alligators was going to enhance his movements or something like that. I was like, that seems insane.
That seemed how the
also,
hell
like,
did it change his movement?
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really seem to make a whole lot of sense, but it was entertaining.
Yeah, it sounds like clickbait to me.
Well, it was from bjpin.com. So.
Here we go.
Interpret that as you will.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's all we got. I don't know if you've got any more to add.
No, man, we covered the whole card. I've been going into college basketball withdrawals this week after the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. Do have my NC State Wolfpack in action tonight in the NIT, so gonna watch that. Playing further into March than the Tar Heels are. Tar Heels team has fallen apart. That's been a delight to watch.
Does it count if you're in the NIT? What is that?
I mean, we're still playing. Y'all aren't.
Nobody knows what even. Nobody is that even televised?
It's on ESPN, baby. The mothership, biggest network in sports.
Jesus Christ!
You guys are playing on freaking True TV. We're on ESPN, baby.
Must have felt sorry for you guys.
Huh? I feel sorry for the Tar Heels, man. They're going to be garbage next year.
Yeah. Well,
bottom of the league.
It happens.
At least Duke's got potential to improve next year.
That's why I'm ready for football.
Yeah. Right.
You want to talk football?
Want to talk about how much Carolina cheats in football?
How we cheat? Man,
they've been caught with so many academic violations. It's outrageous, man. And they never get punished. So, like, punishments are so biased in the NCAA. The NCAA is such a clown show, man.
They got punished, man. They lost all those scholarships for like 3 years.
I mean, but
it was back when
but other schools that get these kind of things get like postseason bans. They're not doing bowl games or anything like that. Carolina gets off so easy.
We had the bowl game.
Garbage. It must have been garbage that year.
We were awful.
Well, the basketball team didn't get in any trouble for having tutors taking their classes for them. So,
well, you know,
and that's what the NCAA really cares about is their basketball. The NCAA doesn't give a shit about Carolina football,
and they punished them the hardest.
Yeah, because they don't give a shit about it.
And now they're the best. Funny how that works out.
They're definitely not the best, but football season will come, and
better than the Wolfpack, I can tell you that.
Barely.
3 years in a row doesn't count as barely.
Yeah, but they were barely better those 3 years.
I don't know. What was the score of the last game? It was like a 40-point blowout.
All right, that'll do it for the show today. We really appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RHLH Podcast. It's been a pleasure as always, Josh, except for the end there. That was less pleasurable. But, yeah, man, I'll see you again next week.
I'll see you, brother. Have a good one, man.
All right.